What you identify with is what you become. Hi, loves. I want to talk to you guys today about identifying with your thoughts and your beliefs and your habits and letting those things define you. Most of us have been programmed to live inside of a box of a belief system and a program that allows us to define who we are. This program ends up defining who we are instead of allowing ourselves, our spirit, our soul to shine through so we can be authentic and truly define our reality that way. Now, our environment ends up creating a huge impact on our soul's blueprint, and yet our soul's blueprint ends up manifesting certain scenarios and environments because that is part of our soul path and soul purpose and mission. So I want to share with you a little bit today about how you can shift your reality by shifting your identity. First things first is you have to create a list of how do I identify myself? Who do I identify as? We end up putting these labels on ourselves, describing ourselves maybe by our skills, our habits, our talents, our abilities, but we also tend to define ourselves based on our negative traits as well, or what we would perceive as negative. So I encourage you to create that list of your personality traits, how you define yourself by your habits. What does your daily life look like? Where are you investing your energy, and how do you let that define who you are? How does that define the decisions that you make and the actions that you take in your daily life? We can look at this with our money beliefs as well, the programming we have around that. The things we have experienced in the past dictate how we define our money stories and how we move through life. So instead of maybe being in a beautiful flow, we end up boxing ourselves in and running in a maze, running in circles. So getting clear first on what your beliefs actually are and understanding your habits, your patterns, and what you're choosing to identify with, because that's the key. You are making a choice to identify with those traits and those beliefs. But the first thing is digging them out so we can actually see what they are, and doing that from a place of neutrality. We're not here to judge ourselves or condemn ourselves. We're here to love and nourish ourselves. So we must just understand, who am I? How do I define myself? How do others see me? How do others define me? Thinking about that as well, you could even ask your immediate friends or relatives, how do they define you? What do they believe about you? When we allow our immediate friends or family, people in our environment to place those beliefs about us, they might have good intentions, but those things could be blocking us as well, because if they have certain limiting beliefs about us that keep us on a certain level, certain frequency, it's harder for us to expand and grow. So it's important to recognize that, again, without any judgment of them or yourself, but just listening and understanding and seeing where you want to make a shift, where you want to make an adjustment. How do you do that? How do you create the shift? How do you become a new person? Maybe people have been telling you, oh, you're so shy for years. For me, I still am at times, but I was definitely very introverted growing up, and I didn't feel safe around people. I didn't feel open to conversing with people. Today, I still tend to be a little bit more inward. However, I can go there more naturally when I feel like it, and I can easily have conversations with people. But this wasn't always the case for me when I was younger. I had a fear, I had a blockage actually around my heart and my throat because I didn't feel safe to fully be seen or expressed. So simply noticing where we have these tendencies, where we hold ourselves back, because that's all fine and good, but if you want to use your voice in some way to create an impact or be a leader, then you have to be able to break through those blockages. But first, we have to bring awareness to what those even are in the first place. So after you kind of have an evaluated list, evaluating your identity, evaluating how you define yourself and how others define yourself. Then you can create a new list. And on this new list, you're going to shape your new identity. You're going to write out the personality traits that you desire to carry. You're going to write out a daily life outlook, how you spend your time, how you invest your energy. You're going to write out what type of people you spend your time with, who you surround yourself with, and what those people say or think about you, how others perceive you. You can write out how you would like to be perceived by others, by your family, by your immediate peers, your coworkers, and so forth. So getting clear on that. How do other people see me? And then we create this vision of this new version of yourself. Once you have this vision, this idea of this new character that you want to morph yourself into, first you have to shed those old layers of the previous program. There's a few ways to go about this that I teach, and one of the number one ways to start to release these things is through somatic healing, but also through the emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping. Because what happens is these thoughts, these beliefs are actually stored in the body, not just in the mind, but in our whole body as our avatar. And certain energies can accumulate, certain traumas can get stuck, and when those traumas are embedded in there, it makes it more difficult to fully extract the program, release it, and replace it with something new. So it's kind of like a spiritual surgery. This is why shamanic work, ceremonial work, can actually help remove these things faster. But the problem with this is sometimes if we yank it out, we remove it too fast, we don't have time to replace it with the new program. So we want to be mindful and we want to be self-aware of what is the right pace for us to create these new programs within us and release these old ones. Because just as trauma gets created in the body, if we create a change too fast, sometimes it can throw us off balance. The instant gratification thing, the instant fix, instant change, it's typically not the best route of action if you want to create these long-term, long-lasting changes. If you really want to evolve into the optimal version of yourself, it's little steps at a time, but it's a daily commitment, a daily practice. This is going to be what is the most beneficial for you on your journey versus going into, say, an ayahuasca ceremony. You receive an intense healing, you get something extracted, and if you don't take care of that immediately and know how to do the proper integration steps, it could cause more damage than good at times. Okay, everyone's different, so it's important to be just aware of where you're at. But I encourage this way of first identifying these programs and beliefs and being able to go in on a somatic level, so on a physical level, finding out where they are being stored in the body. Where is this belief being stored in my body? And just bringing the presence, the thought, awareness, and the breath to the body and feeling, okay, but what does it feel like to be fully present with this feeling? And allowing that feeling to really expand and get really big so we can have space, because often we're trying to contract, we're trying to restrict ourselves, we're trying to clench and hold on to these parts of ourselves that we want to just suffocate or push down, instead of giving them a full space, a full breath of fresh air. Because often once we do that enough, then it can be released. And from that moment, then we create the new program, the new pattern of this is who I am. It depends on what program or what belief we're focusing on, but there are methods and each person is unique. That's why I work with people one-on-one, so we can actually dive deep into exactly what that is. When did it happen on your timeline in this life and maybe a previous life, so we can start to extract and pull up those memories, pull up that cellular data, and help to release it and alchemize it and transform it. And so The way I do that is through energy work and also through sound. And when we work with it through sound, we transmute it, transform it into light, and create the new imprint, create the new program, the new belief. And for some people, this can happen really quickly in just a few sessions. And for others, it takes time. For everyone, it takes consistent daily action on focusing your beliefs, focusing your habits to the direction that you want to be. Who do you want to become? You have to start living like that person that you want to become right now. And sometimes these things can naturally start to heal and resolve themselves. Once you have a little inkling of awareness about something that you need to make an adjustment on to create a shift, the sooner that you start doing the work on that, the sooner you can release it. I want to remind you that you are not just doing this for yourself. This isn't a selfish action in wanting to become a better version of yourself. This is an action we are all being called on to take this action, to take these steps to bettering ourselves and to healing our generational trauma, because each of us have that. Doesn't matter who you are, how perfect your life was, we all have generational trauma. If you look at the history of planet Earth, humans were doing some wild things in previous lifetimes. Things are actually pretty balanced right now, and we actually have this great opportunity to usher in this new age of peace and enlightenment, because there's more people on Earth than ever before, and there's also more people on Earth that are able to embody their power and reach these higher states of consciousness. So we're creating this global network of beings who are accessing higher levels of consciousness, becoming conduits between heaven and earth, and able to help shift, able to access this axis of the earth and help shift the consciousness throughout the planet. And the consciousness isn't just within the human being, within the DNA, it's also within all of life, but specifically the water. So that's why working with water is so important. Our bodies are mostly made of water and very little earth. We're actually not as dense as we think we are. So we're on the way to remembering that we are homoluminous beings. We are not these dense beings. We fell into this illusion of believing in this heaviness and this weight. So we're learning to transform that and become light. But in doing that, we have to love our density. We have to love and appreciate density, appreciate the matter, appreciate the creation that we have all created together. We have all decided to have this beautiful experience. We wouldn't have the abundance of nature and the experience of the senses. The experiences of the senses is completely unique on planet Earth, and so it's really important for us to value and appreciate these things instead of trying to just ascend out of it and be done with it. I did that for many years. That I really wanted to leave planet Earth. I wasn't happy with it. It was so dense. I was dealing with physical abuse and trauma, and I thought, why would anyone want to live on this planet? It's a war planet. Get me off of here. And I would beg and pray and ask my star family to come pick me up and get me out of here. But when I started working with the medicines of the earth and learning the teachings of the plants and really learning to listen, and especially to the mountain beings, to our ancient elders in the mountains, when I started listening to them, I realized what a gift, what an honor it is to be on earth at this time, what a privilege, and that I asked for this life, and I received it. So to be grateful. Don't be trying to escape. Be grateful. The more gratitude that we can express into this reality, then we realize that we actually are living already heaven on earth. We are capable of accessing and tapping into that experience of heaven on earth at any moment. Those who are suffering on the planet right now are only suffering because they are caught in a loop that their ancestors had programmed within them and passed those programs on. And we get caught in these loops of thinking and these loops of negativity or loops of fear. So the best thing to do is just become aware of those things and start to see where I want to create the shift. Where do I want to create the shift in my life? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? And getting creative about that, realizing there are no limitations to your creativity. You are an infinite being. And the bigger your dreams are, the more you allow yourself to dream and imagine what is possible, the more fun you can have in the experience of life. The more fun, the more joy you can spread and bring to the world around you. When you notice when you're vibrating on these higher levels and you're accessing this higher consciousness by communing with your spirit and anchoring it into your body, communicating with the heavens, also communicating with the inner worlds, the underworlds of the planet. The underworld isn't bad, the underworld's not evil, and it's not something to fear. And as light workers, shamanic practitioners, healers, whatever you identify as, notice what you identify as, by the way. Notice, how am I identifying? And am I identifying with something because I think the opposite is bad? That's a good thing to also ask ourselves and question ourselves. Am I identifying with this because I'm judging the opposite of that? So we don't want to have judgment on any of it, on any of life. All is from source. All is from creator. So when we identify with that, with source creator, then we tap into our infinite abilities, our infinite gifts, and there's really no space for any judgment about any of the life experience. It's all just an experience. Being able to tap into that neutral space is really where we can experience true bliss and true nirvana. It's all an experiment, a life experiment, and I encourage you to really focus. Who am I? Who am I? Who have I been? What is the old story that I'm releasing? I'm shedding that skin like a snake, releasing it, activating this new energy, this meeting of two versions of myself, creating this new vision for my life, and then bringing that into the body. So after you have tapped, you've released, you've energetically cleared the old patterns. It can take weeks, it can take months, sometimes it can take years. It's the consistency that is the priority, that is the most important. Releasing, and also coupling with that at the same time, creating that new vision and tapping in the new affirmations of who I am. This is who I am. And if you see in some of my older videos, I've helped many people manifest a life of their dreams or something they needed, something they wanted through tapping. And the way I do this is you tap and release. You first tap and release the old story, and you love and accept yourself for where you're at, no matter what the story is, no matter what story you've been telling yourself. You find love and acceptance and appreciation beyond any of that. And then you tap in the new vibration of what you want to be feeling, of the new feeling that you're bringing in. But first you have to do the release. Then you tap in the new feeling. And if you watch some of my old videos from years ago, they're all about tapping in that new affirmation. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that this is my experience now. I've done it with cars. I've done it with houses. And people have been able to manifest through doing these techniques. And I have as well. I've done it many times. But sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes a month. But actually, you can definitely get results if you consistently follow the emotional freedom technique, the tapping. And what really works is when you notice yourself thinking the opposite. When you notice yourself, you catch yourself thinking in a negative pattern of like, how's this gonna happen? Like, what am I doing? Like, how am I gonna make this happen? And you're stuck in that. When you take a moment immediately, no, we're gonna clear this. We're gonna tap this out. Even though I'm feeling this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And it's okay for me to feel like this. It's okay for me to feel hopeless, upset, angry. I let myself feel that because my inner child needs to feel that. And I need to validate my feelings. It's okay for me to feel what I feel because maybe I need to be felt because other people shut me down before. So I want to feel my feelings fully. And I love and accept myself for feeling my feelings fully. And really just give yourself that honor, that reverence to feel fully what you need to feel. So then you can move into, now that I've released that feeling, I'm going to focus on what I want to feel. And what I want to feel is happy, healthy, vibrant, expressive, creative. I want to be in my power. I want to be sharing. I want to be learning. I want to be growing. I want to be excited. Everywhere I look, there's excitement, there's magic, there's joy. Everyone around me is in their power, their passion, their purpose, and creativity is spreading. And people care about the earth and care about one another. And that's just so exciting for me to be alive during this time. I'm so happy and grateful to be alive during this time and be receiving surprises of abundance and health and wealth and gifts from the universe, and maybe a new house, maybe a new car, maybe a new trip around the world, maybe a really cool outfit that I can wear to a really cool event that I'm gonna be speaking at or be leading a group of people at, or maybe I'm leading a retreat. Whatever it is you're calling in, whatever you want, your desires are, first get clear on those. But it's nice to do tapping because we can go into the flow state and just let whatever thoughts are coming come and just speak. And it's fun to do it in the mirror as well, looking yourself directly in the mirror, so you can really be speaking to yourself and really holding that space for yourself. That's a really beautiful way to spend time with yourself and honor your energy and honor your process, honor your flow. Because like I can help you, I can hold space for you and hold you accountable to the work, and I can give you the processes, I can give you the practices, the techniques that will help you get to where you want to be, but you have to do them on your own, in your own time. You have to be willing to commit to just doing it. But once you do it and you start seeing and feeling the results that happen as a result of just taking action, doing these techniques, you'll want to keep doing them because you see that there are results. And if you go to the gym long enough, if you eat the right way long enough, if you meditate long enough, you will see the results, and then it's easy to step into these new habits because you enjoy it so much and you realize how much better your life is because of it as a result. So I hope this video helped you in infinite ways. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, please email me at lunarostarshine@gmail.com or go to my link and sign up to learn more. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.